Today, I'm going to show you how to actually animate an action scene from storyboarding, animation, then compositing. I use a very simplified animation pipeline that I developed for my own animation here on YouTube because I need to be efficient and fast in making content. As you know, animations take a lot of time and resources to make, so I just try my best to do a little bit of everything with every animation short film parody I do. The Japanese animation pipeline looks something like this, and mine looks like this. It's almost the same but with no quality control checks because I'm the only person doing the work. Well, there are a few who help me do the cleanup and color, but more on that process later. So this action sequence I made is part of a bigger animation I just posted here on YouTube about Mr. Beast and his recent show, Beast Games. And initially my storyboard for this one looks something like this. I have a script and I recorded my own voice to make sure I know how much time I need for each cut. But later on, during the animation process, I realized I wanted to add a little bit more action in this sequence. This is basically me trying to recreate the storyboard for the actual animation I just made to show you the quick process of it. For the previous storyboard, I used the software called Storyboard Pro, but for this process, I am using Clip Studio Paint with a basic storyboard template. Basically, I draw everything on this panel over here and then add the dialogue and action on this side. I try to simplify these drawings as much as I can and only draw the keyframes. I also tried to use a very simplified version of the characters that I made, which of course will come from the character design sheets I already created earlier. What's important here is that I will be able to just put it together later on and play it through to test the timing of each cut. But since I already know the timing, I put down the number of seconds and frames up here. This is very important because you need to know how many frames you will need for each cut, which will guide your animation process later on. This action sequence is very simple. We have 4 cuts. The first one is Mr. Beast just introducing us to what his toy beast can do. The second cut is an action sequence where we zoom into the beast opening his eyes and he goes berserk. The third cut is a close-up of Mr. Beast giving orders, and the last cut is a rotating shot of the beast killing all the contestants of the show. This action sequence has a mixture of both simple and complicated cuts that balance each other out. And there are a lot of ways to direct an action scene, but this one is the simplest one I can think of that serves the story I was trying to make. Now we are going to go over each of these cuts one by one and how I made it. The first cut is obviously just a simple layout with the character talking to the camera and a background at the back. Using the rule of thirds, I made sure my character is placed in this area over here, and from there I basically just drew the rough cut of the acting and then added my character. Also, by the time I was doing this cut, I already have the actual voiceover which guided me to do the mouth animation as well. I also have a very simple looping animation of people going crazy in the background as if they are fighting for their lives. After that, I added a quick zoom camera movement and that's it. We have a very simple cut with about 36 frames or 1.5 seconds. The second cut is a bit complicated because what I wanted to do here is really play with how to animate camera movement together with the character going berserk. So to be able to do this, we need to first plan our shot from the top view. This will be our character and this will be our camera. Obviously, the character will just stay in place and the camera will move from here all the way to the face of the character, and then it will back down a bit over here to reveal the torso when the character goes berserk. The timing and spacing for the keyframes of this animation will depend on your understanding of ease in and ease out, and obviously a lot of references. The panther is probably the first beast or animal animation I made, so it was a bit challenging drawing the keyframes, but eventually I was able to push through. I wanted to add some glowing effects right here in the eyes, so I just made sure I write those things down so I can remember later when I do the compositing. The third cut is very simple, and there are exactly 4 drawings in here. The A drawings are 4 drawings indicating each mouth shape with a bit of animation of the jaw. I could easily do an animation where the mouth was the only thing moving, but since this is a very close-up animation, it made perfect sense to me to have the jaw move together with the mouth. This is then animated based on the timing of the voiceover I got from the voice actor for Mr. Beast. Then, the last drawing is the hand with the walkie-talkie, which is animated by keyframing the position of the hand from here to here. The last cut was the most challenging one, and it's the rotating shot of the beast. So if we go to the top view, the idea is to just have the camera go around the beast while he destroys everything in his path. So to be able to do this, we need to animate the character doing a turnaround while he kills everyone. I decided to create a looping animation where he takes a 3 action step. So from the starting position, he goes for a hammer shot, 1 to the right and 1 to the left, and finally a bite because he was kinda hungry. From there, I just connected the key poses with the breakdown poses and in between and made sure the action made sense. This animation is animated in 3s because there are so much things going on in this shot that having it in 2s won't make a lot of difference, plus we're trying to save time obviously. I also added some characters flying around with a little bit of smoke effect animation. I had to separate these parts into different animation folders to make sure I can export them separately later on. Lastly, I created a 3-layer background and a foreground that moves at different speeds to add the parallax effect of the animation. The idea of the parallax is that the closer the object is to you, the faster they are going to be, and that is because of our field of vision. After that, it was just a matter of putting it together to create this animation.
Hey Chucky, eliminate everyone except 10 people.
So buy and subscribe, or else.
After all this work, it was time to pass these Gengas or keyframe drawings to another person who will take care of the cleanup and color of this animation. This is actually a very simple process I could do myself, but the reason why I hire someone to do the cleanup work is because I want to make sure that the cleanup work can start for the cuts that I have completed while I try to finish the rest of the animation. Okay, this part right here is very simple because I actually just followed the step-by-step tutorial made by Dong Chang in this video to do my compositing in After Effects. But here's a quick rundown of what I do. Once the colored cells have been completed, I export each cell animation. Then I import it to After Effects and add a color change and smoothing to the line art. I also add some soft light to each of the cell and then put it together in the scene together with the background. Oh, by the way, I also hired someone to paint these backgrounds for me since I'm not really a background artist. Then I add some shadows and highlights to the scene, and then finally add the infamous Animate filter. Like I said, all these steps are all included in this video by Dong Chang, so you might want to check it out if you want to do basic anime compositing like this. Then I just have to do the same for each of the cuts of the action scene. If you still want to learn more about making animations, check this video right here, or if you want to just check out the full keyframe animation of this action scene, check this video right here. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.